Hello everyone, and welcome to Jumper Man Tech, where we specialize in HVAC but do everything DIY. And today we have a service call for an American panel walk-in cooler. Thank you to everyone tuning in to Jumper Man Tech. Today we're walking on a walk-in beer cooler, and look at that. No wonder this door doesn't fully close. Look at this. Alright, starting off well today, man. Look at this. We didn't puncture this hose because we got a glycol system here where they chill. It chills the beer anyways. So let's walk in here. What we're gonna do today is actually replace this digital thermostat and the solenoid coil. In my last visit, I noticed on this door we had an error code here. It said AH55, and any AH code, I looked it up for American panel on these kind of like monitors. Basically, the temperature got too high. And what I did is I had to adjust the thermostat way lower just so we can reach temperature. So it's 48 because I got the door open. The sensor is actually right here. You can see it. Kind of a bad spot right by the door. If anything, that should be sensing temperature, you know, for return air. But anyways, let's see. What's this? Keep Right Refrigeration. Never heard of it. Anyways, we got a Renko digital thermostat and an electronic temperature controller. We're going to be replacing that today. And like I said, also the solenoid coil. The condensing unit to this is a big rack system. So pretty much all this is working. This thermostat is that solenoid coil. So when that's operating one, I like to change both because you don't want any problems in the future. Got a ton of goodies in here. Everything seems to be pretty decently cold since I made that repair. And it's time for an upgrade. Wearing a hoodie, man, because it is cold in here, even though it's like 90 degrees outside. I gotta move some of this stuff out of the way. I gotta get to this area. I'm gonna take off that cover, and we should have a switch in the back of this to turn this off so we're safe to do our work. I cleared out the space for the most part. Oh man, I can see my breath in here. It's kind of chilly, so it's definitely doing its thing right now. Let's get to the back of this. Oh man, what is this? Let's turn off the switch. Coil could use a cleaning as well. And while you clean that, clean the whole building while you're at it. This is the same place with the the LG units. Anyways, I have a direct swap out. Put the control here. I got an exact control Renko, and I got a Sporlan solenoid coil. This one right here is mounted right there, so let's do what we do. Power is off. You do want to test and always make sure that the power is off, but I can see the display is gone. Most likely it is off. Wow, look at that. We put one screw on this thing. This thing is just loose. Anyways, oh boy. Oh, there's my bit. That thing flew off. Anyways, we're gonna take off this front cover. I'll check for power just to be safe. And probably the sensor went bad in here, but I don't know who just sells the sensor alone. Usually you just have the kit, and that's as best as you're gonna do. Be better off changing the whole thing when it's off like that, because then you're gonna have other problems and callbacks and all these other issues. So let's see how they did this. Got a bunch of different wire sizes in here. And the sensor, what is this? Oh, I guess that's that. What we can do is now check for power. So let's do that. I do have a video of how this works, but I should probably make a in-depth video on how that works. Where can we hang this? This thing is done. All right, so volts AC. In this case, power. Oh wow, it doesn't show there. Usually there's like a diagram underneath. Oh yeah. Anyways, up here is where the power would be. We're using 120 volts and we don't. So we are safe to go. contacts. All right, normally open contacts, and then we're using 120 and common. In this case, this can be used for either 240 or 120, and you have a set of normally open or normally closed contacts. Normally open is going to be for, right, to work your solenoid coil, and normally closed would be like if you have like electrical heaters or something like that. And there's one screw holding this thing up. Yeah, let's get this thing out. You know what, first you might want to take a picture. See, they're using, this is a jumper, blue is hot, red is common, and some kind of connector there for that. I don't like that setup too much, but we're gonna reuse all the same wires and just do what we do. Fix air conditioners and refrigerators. So I'm gonna take a quick picture and move along. And we're free to take this apart. Alright, so let's see what we got here. Once again, so you need 120 to feed here. Red is your common, most likely your neutral. Yes, it is probably your neutral. And then blue is your 120 volt hotline. From the same connection where we have the hotline, we have a small little jumper right here. It goes to common on the contact side, and then we have a normally open here, black wire. All right, let's take all this apart, and it is what it is. And one of those wires, probably the normally open, that's what's feeding our solenoid coil. So these contacts are open when you're not calling for cooling, and when it does call for cooling, these normally open contacts will close and energize our solenoid valve, open the valve. It's usually normally closed, and then it can allow the gas to pass through. And as far as here, there's blue and red wire, it's 120. We have a constant power there, constant display, so this control, you know, can read and work with our display. Also back here, there's like a little switch. You can do either lock it to the right or have it unlocked to the left, and like that nobody can mess around if you lock it. So disconnected all the wires. Oh, jumper just fell out. And now I can take this out. Definitely gonna want to secure that better. The only thing going through there is the sensor. I'm gonna leave this here for now. I would love to see how they ran that sensor and where they did it, but you want it in the return air section, so behind this coil, because air is pushing out this way. So, oh man, look how this thing just goes through this too. No good knockout or anything, but anyways, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. This thing gonna work. Let's just see where this sensor is. Right there, and that's actually a pretty good spot. That's totally fine. Can we like pull this thing out, or we're gonna mess something up? It's a long one. We might want to open this up before you start pulling this. Just took off a few 5/16 screws, and it is what it is. There is a knockout like right here, this little like guard. I wonder if I could just move those wires into here, or switch that and put it in there to protect these wires a little bit. I think that would be a smart choice. All right, so I'm pulling out this sensor, and you know what? I actually found that little piece. So I'm gonna try, kind of bozo ran it like this. Anyways, we're gonna take that piece, got it in my hand, let's try to untangle this. And I knotted this thing up. Let's try to untangle this, get that out of there, and we're gonna run all the wires with that little thing right there, little bushing, whatever that's called. That's there to protect everything. So let's just pop that back in. If anything, we could use the other one, but this one looks fine. Look at that. You know what that is? That's a beautiful thing right there. Drop a comment below if you think so. All right, so this guy can go through. This guy can go through. And this guy can go through. And I have a jumper as well. And that is gonna be so much better. Let's open up this new control. The screws don't actually come out, so don't go crazy there. Actually, it just pops out a little bit and the rest stays. Okay, with this control, it's pretty cool because the sensor comes pre-wired. In other controls, you have to, you know, just fit that in place. It's usually like a plug-in. Let's see. Oh no, there is no diagram on here either, but it does say on the thermostat itself, it'll at the terminals, it will say it underneath. I'll take a picture so you guys can see it below. Here's the back of the thermostat. There's a little knockout right there. That's what we're gonna use. Basically the same style as the other one. Let's just give it a quick smack. Okay, could break that free. Now we can run our wires through there and everything should be fine. We're gonna match that up. It is what it is. And what they had on the bottom here is just open. I wish they came with like little plugs, but you can go through the back or through the bottom. That's what I love about this one. For the pen controls, which I'm about to install in another box, you can only go from the bottom like this. It's nice because then you can hide stuff. You know what? How did they do this? Oh, they took out the piece from the top. I would leave that closed. I would leave that sensor there, to be honest with you. And I would run that a different way, actually. Let me see something. If I put this up here, let me just put these wires through. Let me see how it looks. If anything, yeah, that's fine. Could just run it like this. And then I could put the sensor through there and run it through the back, so they're both protected and they're separate. It's nice if it will be all hidden, to be honest with you. Let me think about that. I'm just gonna run the sensor separate. I feel like that's a lot of extra work, and they'll be all right. A couple of self-tappers will give it some justice here. All right, got one. Let's make sure this thing is straight. Follow that line, and one more. That's it. That thing going nowhere. Just so you guys can see how exactly this is done, I'm just gonna lefty loosey, righty tighty, right? So loosen that up. I stripped all these wires back so they're nice and clean and we have good connections. And pretty much there's like a little piece here. We can just stuff the wire in. You know what? We could even cut some of this so we have nothing sticking out. We just push it through underneath where it opens up. Hold the wire and just tighten up this terminal here. Pull on the wire after, make sure you're tight. And that's pretty much how I put all the wires together. It's pretty simple, and that's it. And I got everything back the exact same way. We're nice and, whoops, we're nice and clean here. I'll take a picture of that so you guys can see, but it's the same setup as the other. And you're good to go here. You can close this up, run the sensor in the back, and once we're done with all our electrical work, we'll program this and I'll show you how that's done as well. Now we have an alarm. It's going through different temperatures, but numbers, and I think that's the temperature that it's reading. See how it's going up? AH basically is just telling you that it's warm. This is what I do. Hold that. And there you go. And it back on. Oh no, that's not the temperature. Anyways, and that's how you reset that. If you can click reset too, it has that button, but this works for me. So, oh, that's the light. but it's back. Oh, that's this button. That's pretty cool. All right, anyways, let's shut that thing up because that thing's gonna give me a headache right now. So this is what our thermostat looks like around the wire like this. Gonna go through there. That's pretty neat. Excess wire. I'm gonna use a tie wrap, cable tie, whatever, and we're running it through here to the back, and it has one of those little plastic connections so the metal doesn't rub out on the wiring, so we don't have any shorts, and we're gonna be all right. I'll show you where I put that connection. And where's this solenoid? Either behind the unit or probably in here. All right guys, that looks pretty good. I put a tie wrap back there just so this kind of stays in place, and I put a tie wrap here so it's neat. And let me show you guys what the sensor looks like right there. It's nice and sturdy. It's not touching the metal as far as the sensor, so we're properly reading air pressure, air temperature, air pressure. And let's take off this cover and change that solenoid coil. I'm going to turn this thing on and I'm going to show you how it is programmed. Took off this cover. As you guys can see, we have our expansion valve, and over here is the solenoid. So we're just changing the coil, not the valve. So there's a screw on top here. You take that off and pop it right off. Okay. Do not lose that screw. Take that, set it in here, and this comes right off. Let's, oh, why do they run the wires? They're like that. Anyways, let's clear this up. There's a little marker here, little grommet or whatever it's called. Alright. Anyways, we're gonna reuse that. Let's disconnect the wires. There should be only 2 wires here. Okay. Let's take that off. Take this cover off. Slide that off. And it's only 2 wires. You might have a third because there is a grounding screw here. Anyways, I'm gonna squeeze this. Might need needle nose, but all right, whatever. Let's cut that out. Let's see. You know what? Let's cut it out like this. At least 1 wire nut. And now it should push through. And yes, that's that. Should have. There's little tabs on both sides, and look, now I can push that out right here, and I can reuse that for a new solenoid. People talking about how come you don't have a good wire stripper or have a wire stripper. I don't know, it looks like I'm stripping wires, guys. I learned from an old school guy, and I'm just used to it, and it's comfortable for me. And you know, you don't need a specific tool to strip wire. You could use anything, linesman's, whatever. Let's get, why are there screws and stuff like that in here? This gotta go. All right, let's get this started. Here's our new solenoid. Let's just see where it will be better. So this is gonna go on here. So it will be better if I knock out this hole, because we can do it on 2 sides. I got that loose, pop that tab. It's gone, and then I can reuse that bushing that I took out, which is right here. Let's just squeeze that through like the other one so the wires don't rub against. It'll be a good thing to have like that. And we can run in these 2 wires. Okay, and then we can connect these wires here. Pretty decent leads on this. I would reuse it. Let's connect that. Put some wire nuts on, slap that thing on, put the screw in. And that's it, fellas and ladies, if you're watching. And that's it. That's how it looks. Got my wire nuts on. I'm just gonna stuff the wires back and put the cover on, and let's get this thing mounted. I did use a screwdriver when putting on that screw. Don't usually, whenever I'm putting things together, I use a screwdriver, but when I'm taking it out, definitely using a drill. And I also put a tie wrap up here and neatened up this wire so it's not sitting in the drain pan or up against any hot pipes. If anything, put another tie wrap here, but this is a lot better. And yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Let's close this up. All right, guys, we're at the end. Let's turn this switch on. Do we have a display? Fan started. Show 72 degrees in here. We have a set button, up arrow, down arrow. That's all you got. We're gonna click set, F. All right, you can go Fahrenheit or Celsius. We're gonna go Fahrenheit, set. S1 is the temperature that we wanted in here. Let's bring that down. They like it a bit chilly in here. It was set before to 40, but let's maybe do 38. Set with a, let's say, 3-degree differential. Set C1 cooling. You can set it for cooling or heating. We're gonna be cooling. Set D1. I think this is a delay. 0 delay. We don't really need a delay. Right there, I heard the solenoid click in. It's reading temperature. Let's see if this box cools down. It's only been a minute. I can hear the gas passing through when the solenoid engaged. I heard that as well. That's a beautiful thing. You can already see we're already dropping in temperature. We're already at 62. Let's give it some time. I got some other stuff to work on, but that's pretty much it. That's a beautiful thing right there. Just came outside this box and it looks like the number next to AH. AH must be the error code and 62 must be the temperature coming in, because that kind of matches up with what's in there. Let's see if this goes away on its own. I try to hit reset, it doesn't do anything. If you click reset, the alarm will stop, that sound. But pretty much, looks like this thing only can read like 49 degrees. Turn around, look, see right away it shows 49. It's like stuck in there, but then AH and then the number next to it must be the actual temperature in there. Honestly, you don't need all that. Really, this is just a monitoring system. It doesn't affect operation. If it's giving problems, man, get rid of that thing. All right, the error went away on its own, and you can see it's 46 right now, and slowly it is coming down. Let's see what it says in here. It's 47 and it's on its way down. The thing is cooling, I can feel it. And we're gonna wrap this one up from here. If anyone found this video interesting or helpful, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe as I come out with new videos every week. And I'll catch you all next time.